Okay, in this video session we're going to look at how to find out information about your topic because you need to have some kind of rationale for what you're doing, find out what's already known about it, whether or not it's been, how to implement it if you're doing some kind of project where you're introducing a new program. So if we go to the library, we want to go to the databases. We want to select education. The best one to pick is this Academic Search Complete. And what you can do, the first thing you have to do is go to this option that says Choose Databases. Click on that. And pick up this ERIC Middle Search Plus. Probably for this course, you don't really need behavioral sciences, but we'll put it in anyways. That gets into more of the behavioral issues. So if you're doing something RTI in relation to curriculum instruction, you might include that. Hit OK. Now, next thing you want to do is you don't have to go look for the information. So you want to select full text, and you don't need anything more than 5 years old. Set that to 2011. And we'll use an example like reading recovery. I want to find out what information is available about reading recovery. And what it does is it comes up with a list of articles. There's 329 results that are all full text. Well, I might want to see if I can narrow that down some. So let's try, see what happens if I put in first grade. Narrows it down to 12, so that's better. So here's an article, Read and Recover What Works, Clearinghouse Intervention Report. So it gives a overview of that, of what is known about that. Plus you can also get the full text article from them. So as you start to build a rationale for that, you need to include 5 or 6 articles as a basis for what you have done in your school. And this is the way to go about doing that. One of the other students had something, I'm going to back out of this and start over. Let's see if we can. Okay, in this situation, I've asked a question about transient children. Really what I'm getting at is one of the research studies that somebody suggested on Blackboard. And really what we're getting at is kids who don't stay in the same school for the entire time they go to that school. Changing schools a lot has something to do with academic achievement. So I put in the search parameter, transient children and academic achievement. What it's trying to do is find whether or not these phrases go together. So I end up with 52 articles. I didn't select full text. So I'm going to change that and have it update, and we'll see what happens. Because many of these I may not be able to go find. And what happens with full text is the university doesn't have access to every single article. If you end up with ones that aren't full text, they can get them for you, but sometimes it costs money to do that. So we're going to usually can find what you need without having to go through all that. So here's another way to put it: student mobility in rural communities. What are the implications for student achievement? That sounds pretty good. That sounds, it's 2002. It's close enough. We can live with that. Well, I like that phrase better, so I'm going to click on that because I think that's really what we're getting at. So I'll wait for it to do that. Now, I want to read this stuff. So I'm going to No Child Left Behind, academic achievement, mobility. That sounds pretty close to what I'm wanting. I want to find more stuff like that. So I click on this Find Similar Results. Now, it's got a whole lot more stuff. Well, it took in all these other phrases in there. Now I've got 405,000. Well, I might want to narrow that down. So you can start, it's taking in all the occurrences of these words. So we might want to take some of that stuff out. Say rural communities and that, student achievement, get rid of the rest of that. All right, that narrows it down some more. So that's a way to find out some background information. You will need to have a section in your paper about the background for what you're doing, a rationale for it, what the problem is, why it's a problem, the solution that your school has implemented, that kind of thing. So you need to have a research-based rationale for that, and that's the way to go about doing it.